Oh hey, what's up gang? Canadian Computer Collector here, and you may be asking yourself a question or two, like, what happened to the picture that used to be on the wall, or why can you see the breasts through my shirt? Now these are things that come to mind naturally. But the question I want to ask today is, can I create a really cool new space in my pre-existing apartment? We're going to disassemble a decent amount of stuff here. We're going to do the same thing in the living room, and then we're going to build a new set, which might be great, or it might be terrible. Although, why would I say that? New set's going to be fantastic. So join me, if you will. Stop looking at my breath. Ready, set. Oh, hey! So I'm going to go ahead and assume one more thing. You're probably wondering, what's the story here, my lady? Why move around your entire living room area? Well, I started living with my girlfriend, which was an inevitability, and we got another place. So my brother and I decided to hang on to this one that I have for the next 6 months and use it for both our YouTube channels as we wait for our dad to get his store ready. Why does that matter? Well, we're both going to be moving our channels into the front space of his shop because he's retiring, but he owns the building and he lives in the back and upper floors. The plan is to pay him some rent for that area, which will help offset his costs, but it'll also save us a bunch of money when compared to using this apartment. Plus, we get the added bonus of spending more time with our dad. Our pop's worked hard for the last 4.5 decades as an antiquesman. He's been on Pawn Stars, Canadian Antiques Roadshow, Canadian Pickers. You know, he's done it all. And while it's likely impossible for him to stop questing for rare items, as the hunt is built into his DNA. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. He deserves a little time off and to enjoy the space that he's created and paid for, quite frankly. Another interesting thread here is that the building the apartment is in right now has recently been purchased by a local rental agency, and it is no longer going to be privately owned. Right now, the rent of the building is incredibly affordable, but this company is already replacing the windows in the suite, and we imagine there'll be more renovations to come with major rent increases to follow. If our dad can get his shop space ready for us by the end of December, we plan to be out of this apartment and into that spot by the start of 2024, ideally missing any rent hikes from the new apartment company, but we'll see how that all shakes out. Anyway, let's get back to the action. The shot you just saw a few moments ago kind of captured how much had to come down and off of the shelves before any furniture in this place could be moved around. At this point, I'm just putting machines back into the shelving unit to free up space. I wanted to remove the rug that was underneath it, but it was so heavy with everything on it before. My goal was to clean it, then pack everything back on it, favoring storage instead of display because this thing is so large, and we're trying to put as much as we can on there. Anyway, you can see that the floor now is starting to clean up a little bit, but there's still quite a bit of stuff down there, and we're still playing the sliding tile game that this has basically become, where I'm moving all my possessions to one side just to make room so that I can move furniture and other things to the other side. So next up is to pull everything off of these shelves as well. These are the IKEA Broer shelves, if anyone's interested. They are metal and sturdy, and they do a great job of holding lots of old machines. Once everything is kind of dragged over to this corner, you can actually attach them together using the nut and bolt system that IKEA provides. Thank you and shout out to Sweden, I suppose. And here we are attaching everything. So it's nice and sturdy. And after a quick wipe down, you know, I thought it's time to get more stuff off the floor. Like when you're working on a project like this and the amount of stuff that we have on the floor is around, it gets frustrating. There's not a lot of places to step anymore. You have to create these little paths through your possession. You kind of get a feel of what it's like to be on that TV show Hoarders. So here we are, we're putting some laptops away, putting some monitors away, and you can see I'm not favoring display anymore. I'm just trying to fit stuff up there, quite frankly. And you might have noticed also that this is the area where I used to film my videos, and that we're using it as more of a dry storage now. But that's okay. All right, time to get the Lego out of there. Shout out to Lego and I guess Denmark. We're hitting all the Nordic Europe countries now. Another shelf to clean off. This one has lots of books too, so we're just going to fast forward through a lot of that. Books are such a pain to move, folks. Kristen came by and helped me sort some of them, and we gave a bunch away to the local firefighters, who I believe collect them for Children's Hospital. I might be wrong there, but it's a charitable thing, so that's a good cause, if you ask me. I decided I wanted a table in the background of the new set, so I moved this dining room table that I had before, which we used for Canadian Computer Collector projects in the past. I also tightened up all the hardware because it was pretty loose before, and actually after reassembling it, it was super toit. One might say toit like a toiga. Like Goldmember, who I believe was also from Denmark. Or no, wait. I don't even remember that properly. Okay, anyway, forget Austin Powers at this point. I wanted to rig some LED lights in behind this 5x5 calyx shelf from IKEA. Turned out the colors were a lot, so we just stuck them on solid white. Next up were the Lego pirate ships, and I was just kind of like taking my time to fill up this shelf and put things on top of it. So you'll see there's a lot of open spots right now. And even in its current state, you know, it's not really finished. There's a lot of stuff that's just been stacked up, so I got a lot of cleaning ahead. Also wanted to keep this shelf around. This is the glass. I don't know, is this a Detolf? I could be wrong about that. Also another IKEA shelf. I guess shout out to IKEA in general. Holy crap. Here's a 2x4 calyx. This ended up coming back to the new apartment. So this is just being removed and not set up again. And then there's a bit of cleanup to do, but I wanted to get the kind of basic shape of the room going here. The TV's set up in the back there. I'm going to put the couch behind it, so time to move stuff out of the way there, including the taillights from an 87 Caprice. Anyone's interested, let me know, because it's for sale, probably forever. All right, couch slides into the back. We're mostly getting close to the finish line, at least of this video. There's still so much work to do in this space, but here's what it's looking like now, you know? There's a big opening in the floor. We got the couch, the TV, the old storage, or sorry, the new storage in the old space, and then we got this spot for a workbench. Headed off to my pops. He's gonna help me. Oh, there's my brother Scamp. He's gonna help me build a workbench out of some leftover materials he had when he removed the shelving in his basement. And check out his basement now. Look how cool this is. It's ready for poker. All right, so with the car out of the way, we set up a table, grabbed a saw, and started chopping some of that excess lumber that he had. This worked out great because, as everyone knows now, the price of lumber is crazy, and having a bunch of leftover free stuff is a godsend. So after we built the frame, we took everything over to my place and set it up as a table. Everything kind of interlocked together, just as we planned, which is perfect because I don't build a lot of stuff with wood, so I was worried.
Made a difference? Ooh. The chop saw.
Oh yeah.
The chop saw.
This is wicked. Yeah, give me a crazy. Oh yeah.
All right, gang, that pretty much takes us to now. Here we are. This is the space that we've created. It's not perfect yet. I've got a lot of cleaning up to do, obviously, behind me, behind there, behind you, in my own behind. I'm pretty happy with it. I'm happy now that we can make videos. I can work on builds without having to do this awkward half bend, which is brutal for a guy like me with a bad lower back. Isn't that attractive?
I have a bad lower back.
We're gonna do some really cool builds here. The kind of stuff that I wanted to do, that I have a vision for, are some really cool creative builds, some really solid restorations, and just being able to wrench on computers without having to hurt my bjockers. It's a great time for me to thank our patrons. Shout out to Steph Jo, Geek with Social Skills, Jerry Stoner, Bruce Rain, Evan Grill, SKLINK, Charlie from Oz, Larry Collins, Justin Morgan, Ron's Computer Vids, SShrek or Shrek, Dave's Vintage Apple Tech, Trina Conrad, Garth Beagle, Mac84, and the OG, Ethan Palamaro. I'm the Canadian Computer Collector, and we will have some really cool stuff for you in the future.